The average home gardener spends over $300 a year replacing potted perennials that died from drought stress alone. Meanwhile, 11 specific perennials can go 4 to 6 weeks without a single watering and still bloom on schedule. The difference is not luck or climate. It is a set of survival mechanisms most gardeners have never considered, and the reason starts with what a container actually does to a root system. A container may look like a miniature garden, but for plant roots, it is a world of hard limits. Every potted perennial faces two invisible pressures: shallow rooting and sudden heat. Unlike open ground, where roots can chase moisture deep and wide, a pot sets a strict boundary, often just 6 to 12 inches of soil. The roots hit the bottom and sides, circling in search of water that is simply not there. As the sun climbs, the walls of the pot heat up fast. Soil near the edge can spike 10 or even 15 degrees hotter than the center, especially in dark or unglazed containers. This heat does not just warm the roots, it drives moisture out of the soil much faster than in the ground. The surface area to volume ratio in a pot is high, meaning there is more exposed soil per ounce of root space. Water evaporates from the top and wicks out through the sides, leaving the root ball dry long before the plant shows the first sign of wilt. For a busy gardener, this means a single missed watering can tip the balance. Within days, the soil can shift from damp to bone dry, especially in summer. Most perennials simply are not built for these swings. Their roots, adapted for steady moisture and cool earth, struggle to keep up. Only certain plants with special storage tissues, efficient root systems, or heat-deflecting leaves can handle the twin stressors of shallow rooting and rapid temperature change. Without these traits, even the toughest flower will fade fast in a pot when water runs short. Once the soil inside a pot dries out, ordinary perennials face a physiological crisis that unfolds with surprising speed. The first line of defense is the closing of stomata, tiny pores on the leaves that usually allow gas exchange. In a container, this threshold is reached much sooner than in garden beds because the root zone shrinks and heats up rapidly. As moisture vanishes, stomata snap shut to slow water loss, but this also limits the plant's ability to take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Oxygen builds up inside the leaf tissues and energy production stutters. Roots, meanwhile, begin to suffocate. In the tight confines of a pot, oxygen levels in the soil drop as roots try to keep drawing water from a shrinking supply. Root respiration falters and vital processes stall. If the dry spell continues, the plant loses its ability to transport water from the roots to the leaves. Wilting becomes visible, first at the leaf tips, then across the entire plant. For many standard perennials, this sequence can take just a few days in summer heat. The urgency is real. A single missed watering can trigger a cascade that most garden favorites cannot reverse. Without specialized adaptations like water-storing tissues, aggressive root systems, or leaves built to reflect heat, plants in pots simply cannot keep up. This is why choosing the right species is not just about preference, but about survival. The difference between a wilted pot and a thriving one comes down to how a plant manages stress at the cellular level, especially when water is scarce and the clock is ticking. Succulents and silver-leaved perennials set the standard for drought survival in pots, each with a built-in strategy for handling dry spells. Sedum, often called autumn joy, but now classified as Hylotelephium spectabile, stores water directly in its thick, fleshy leaves. This adaptation, paired with a unique nighttime photosynthesis process known as CAM, allows sedum to hold on through weeks of neglect when most plants would wilt. Russian sage, Perovskia atriplicifolia, takes a different approach. Its fine, silvery foliage acts like a mirror, reflecting sunlight and lowering leaf temperature. This high albedo effect means less water lost to heat, even on the hottest days. Lavender hidcoat thrives in pots only when the soil is sharply drained. Think sand and gravel, not peat or clay. Its roots demand air as much as moisture, and its aromatic oils help slow water loss from the leaves. Semper Vivum Tectorum, known as hens and chicks, survives by multiplying. Each rosette produces offsets that cluster tightly, shading the soil and sharing stored water among the group. This collective resilience lets house leek endure dry pots for weeks, bouncing back quickly when rain finally returns. Together, these 4 plants show how storage, reflection, drainage, and clonal growth can each lead to real drought resistance in containers. Yarrow, Achillea millefolium, weaves a dense network of fibrous roots through the potting mix, pulling moisture from every pocket and keeping its silver-green foliage fresh even when the surface dries out. Its flat-topped blooms persist through summer's heat, drawing bees and butterflies long after other flowers fade. Catmint, Nepeta Walker's Low, forms a tight root mat near the soil's surface, capturing dew and light rain before it evaporates. The aromatic leaves, packed with nepetalactone, deter pests, and slow water loss. Catmint's lavender-blue flowers stretch from late spring into fall, offering a steady nectar supply for pollinators. Echinacea purpurea, the purple coneflower, sends a taproot deep to the bottom of the pot, tapping into moisture that lingers below. Its sturdy stems support broad, daisy-like flowers that attract bees, butterflies, and seed-eating birds. Agastache Blue Fortune combines deep and branching roots, giving it access to both surface and hidden water. Its blue flower spikes, rich in nectar, are favorites for hummingbirds and native bees. Creeping thyme, oregano, and rosemary bring a different kind of resilience to potted gardens, thriving through seasons with barely a drop of extra water. Creeping thyme forms a dense, mat-like carpet of tiny leaves that hug the soil, shading it from the sun and slowing evaporation. Its foliage is packed with aromatic oils, a natural adaptation that helps lock in moisture and repel pests. Even after weeks of dry weather, thyme keeps its color and spreads steadily, making it one of the few ground covers that stays green in pots when water is scarce. Oregano stands out for its woody base and its ability to regrow after drought or heavy pruning. The leaves, prized in kitchens around the world, are also built for survival, small, tough, and covered in fine hairs that reduce water loss. Oregano's roots reach deep and wide within the container, seeking out any available moisture and bouncing back quickly after rain or a long overdue watering. Rosemary completes the trio with its evergreen needles and upright, shrubby form. Native to Mediterranean hillsides, rosemary's needle-like leaves have a waxy coating that slows transpiration, letting the plant hold onto water even as the potting mix dries out. Its tough, woody stems support year-round growth, filling containers with fragrance and structure long after more delicate plants have faded. Together, these perennial herbs offer both culinary appeal and reliable drought-proof foliage, rounding out the list of container survivors. Start with a sturdy, insulated pot. Plastic or double-walled resin works best for holding moisture and buffering root temperature swings. Pour in a mix of 1 part pine bark, 1 part coarse sand, and 1 part aged compost. This blend drains quickly, but holds enough water for roots to access during dry spells. For a real edge against drought, add 5% hydrogel crystals by volume. These polymers can extend the time between waterings by up to 18 days, absorbing and slowly releasing moisture as the soil dries. Settle the root ball gently, keeping it intact to avoid shock. After planting, spread a 2-centimeter layer of straw, bark, or dried coir mulch across the surface. This simple step cuts evaporation from the soil by nearly half and shields roots from harsh sun. With the right container, soil recipe, and mulch, the foundation for drought-proof potted perennials is in place. Placement matters just as much as the right pot or soil. Even the toughest drought-proof perennial will struggle if it's left baking in full wind or spaced too far from its neighbors. Clustering pots together creates a small oasis. Roots benefit from shared humidity, and the soil stays moist up to 15% longer compared to isolated containers. Positioning pots near a wall or windbreak can cut water loss dramatically, since wind is a silent thief that strips moisture faster than sun alone. For an extra edge, some gardeners add a pinch of plant growth-promoting rhizobacteria, PGPR, to the potting mix. In university trials, this simple inoculation increased water uptake by 25% during dry spells, helping roots reach every drop. When it comes to watering, watch for the first sign of wilt, usually leaf tips curling, before reaching for the hose. One single deep soak at this cue is more effective than frequent light watering, letting roots grow deeper and the plant recover fully. With smart placement, a little teamwork between pots, and a keen eye for stress signals, even a busy gardener can keep drought-proof perennials thriving with minimal effort. As extreme weather and water restrictions become the new normal, drought-proof perennials in pots are more than a convenience, they are a blueprint for sustainable gardening. Each resilient root and bloom is proof. Thriving beauty does not require constant care, just the right plant. Thanks for watching. Share your go-to survivors below.